And there we go. Perhaps. Maybe. I think we should be good. Yeah, there we go. Alrighty, I am back again. It's been a few months, but I apologize for that. Anyways, new boats, new stuff. And I'm gonna up some noise just so we have some background noise on the stream. Okay, otherwise just dead silent. There we go. So, as usual, I'll just go over the new ships first, and then all the other mechanical changes and stuff like that. And first up, we have HMS Diamond. In the British tech tree, of course, being another daring class destroyer. Though oddly, a lower battle rating. And I have no clue why, because I think it's functionally identical to the other darings. Its magazines is in the same position. Front and rear. Feeder tubes, same Bofors mounts. I suspected that 4-3 battle rating is going to change. But oh well. Other than that, there's nothing too special to say about the daring. I would say, if you're looking for a premium rank 3 British destroyer, the daring class is a good one to get. So I definitely would consider it. Maybe on a sale. Is it battery A coverage? Isn't that the same as the... that's 2. That one is... They're both... Should have the same AA coverage as this one, doesn't it? As daring itself? Let's check again. That might be a slightly different position of the rear one, but it seems pretty much identical to the daring. Yeah, but the other one has the wing stags as well. Unless they have... Those have better... Oop, that's not what I want. Customization. They have the wing 40 mils. Fire forwards, I believe, as well. Is it better on the Diamond? Maybe a little bit. And that's the QF, and the stags are on the side. Still no reason for it to be 4-3 though, but oh well. Cool, I guess. I do like the daring class destroyers though, so they're definitely... It's a neat ship to get, I guess. It would also be a neat ship to get yourself into the British tree, possibly. That's probably why they added a premium one. But yeah, it's not gonna stay 4-3, or it shouldn't. And then on to the next nation in line, and my favorite for the next update, Mutsu. Our first 16-inch battleship. And quite a decent one at that. It sits in the tree after the Congo for some reason. Well, I know why they do it, because they just always switch lines where they add stuff. They always like go middle, left, right, and they just go along like that. But ideally, Mutsu shouldn't be behind Congo. It should be in either the Fuso or the Ise line. You know, what I would do is actually, like, I'd move Ise over to before Fuso, and then put Mutsu behind Hyuga. Because then you have, like, 2 early ships with no AA. Then you'd have 2 ships with decent AA in the same line. Then you had the battlecruiser line. It's a bit weird, but that probably will change in the future anyways. Anyways, Mutsu. The first, technically speaking, 16.1-inch guns. Armor-wise, not the greatest, only a 12-inch belt. I mean, my opinion... I don't really know what to think of Mutsu as a 7.0. Also because the shells, right? And I'm gonna get into that first of all, because that's probably the thing everybody wants to see. Ooh, 16-inch shells, what are they like? Take a look at that armor penetration. But the thing you have to look at for armor penetration, especially for battleships, is the 7.5 kilometer and the 10 kilometer range, because that's your most often your engagement ranges. If you get within 5 kilometers of a ship, that'll happen on the smaller maps, but like on large open circle caps, 7.5 kilometers, 10 kilometers. And let's say like 482 millimeters maximum. Compare that to the American Mississippi and its AP shell. It pans 543 at the same range and angle. So yes, they're the biggest guns in game, but not necessarily the best. At least purely stats-wise, they're not necessarily the best. Actually, let's look at the angled pen at that range. 158 on Mississippi. And on Mutsu, it will be 150. So yeah. Technically speaking, not the best shells. Well, they are point blank. They definitely have the most penetration point blank. But at actual combat ranges, there are shells that have more penetration. When it comes to TNT equivalents, though, 16.38 compared to Mississippi's 10. So it is a lot heavier in the HE department. And let's compare it to maybe the 15-inch guns, its closest competitors. It has less HE filler than the Hood's AP, but more pen. Considerably so, I think. 470, is it considerably so? Yeah, more pen. And what about the German 15-inch gun? Also less filler. But again, more penetration. So, are they the best guns purely like stat-wise? Not necessarily. However, a bonus that Mutsu has compared to like the Mississippi, which it's with its 40-second reload, is a reload rate of, at best, 25 seconds. So, it has the fastest firing heavy caliber guns for any battleship at the moment. And that is quite significant. 25 seconds is quite good. Especially now as well, with a recent change that's already live on the live server. If you lose your ammo elevator, your reload is no longer doubled. It is only like 10% increased. So with a destroyed ammo elevator, it's only a 27-second reload. Something along those lines. So it does have a really good reload. But as you can maybe see in the X-ray view as well, shell rooms are all above the waterline. All of them. Although these are actually in auxiliary storage. But yeah, it has ammunition above the waterline. And in some testing with a friend of mine, it can die to detonations, although it's not consistent. I found that if you get hit in the rear ammo storage, you will explode more violently than the front, because there seems to be some more spacing between shell room and magazine compared to here. But it still isn't consistent that you'll get one shot from a detonation. Also, if you do get detonated, of course, it does mean that you lose all the ammo in those turrets, which is a bit problematic. But yeah, armor-wise, 12-inch belt, and a 3-inch turtleback behind it, although it's not the greatest turtleback, I think. It didn't stop an Italian battleship from going through. Other than that, Mutsu is going to be interesting. It's also a pretty fast ship, 42 in that stock. It can go up to, that is 45.3. No, that's 43.3. That's 45.5. So it'll be able to go up to 48, 49 kilometers an hour, which is pretty fast for a battleship. But of course you do pay in that with armor protection. I'll get back to Mutsu later. I'm not going to test sell it just yet, because there's a lot of bugs going on at the moment, so I'm not going to do that. And then we'll just go right to the next ship, which is Bolzano, a sought-after cruiser for one of my friends. And here it is, Bolzano. From what I understand, it is basically a Trento-class hull, but with the turrets of a Zara. I believe that's what I've been told. And it's, another 5-3 cruiser. Very nice addition for Italy. And very much a sought-after one. Armor-wise, it's nothing too special, I guess. 70mm Citadel with no turtleback. Ammo it's poking just above the waterline, so that might be dangerous. And their magazines as well, they're not shell rooms. The fixed torpedoes are quite funny, yeah. They're fixed in the hull, but they have these I don't even know what they are. Splash guards, shrapnel guards, no clue. Yeah, they look quite funny. Actually, speaking of torpedoes, what are they like? Standard Italian torpedo. Yes, here I am checking. Other than that, it's gonna be a standard Italian ship. I assume it has the same float plane as all the others, so... A cool addition. A very much sought after one as well for a friend of mine. And it sits right here in between Trento and Zara. A good position for it, because it basically is like the transition between the two. Ah, that might be it, yeah. So, Bolzano. A neat addition, nice that it's in the tech tree, and it will certainly help form a neat 5-3 lineup with the Trento. Yes, the only 16-inch ship added currently, and that's Britain, is the Nagato class. That's currently the only one. Then we have 2 more ships that are currently on the dev server. There's more in the files, but I'm gonna ignore that for the time being. And then we have, yeah, Kleber, which sadly isn't really a French destroyer. It's a post-war, like war reparation German destroyer. Although it'll be a nice little bit of variation for the French destroyer lineup. There's just a German destroyer of the German 128s, but with some Bofors 40 mils for NTR. Not much to say about it, really. Armor-wise, it's a destroyer, X-ray. Does it have the German vulnerability? Oh, actually, the water... The magazine is like at waterline, so you probably could hit it. And modification-wise, German torpedoes, same German shells. Nothing too special, just, you know, a German destroyer in the French tree. Sitting right between Chacal and Milan. Milan? Who knows? And then we have Bretagne, which I don't really know what I need to think about it, because it's the same class of ship as Lorraine, but an earlier version of it. So you just have another Lorraine, but with no NTR. So stuff is all the same as Lorraine, for as far as I know. Does it actually have the same shells? 1912, 1921 AP. What about Lorraine? Yeah, the same shells at least. But it's just... What France needs now is not another dreadnought. They really need something a bit more competitive. Oh, does Lorraine not have the middle turret? Did I completely gloss over that? It doesn't. Thank you for pointing it out. Yeah, instead of AA, it has another turret. I completely missed that somehow. That might actually make it a bit more interesting, having a bit more firepower. 340 aren't too bad at 6.7. So yeah, another French dreadnought. And that's it for new ships. That's genuinely it. 2 French boats, an Italian cruiser that's very sought after, the first 16-inch battleship with Mutsu, and a premium daring class. But now, as you can see in my lineups, there's a few more other things I have to discuss. And for that, I will jump to Mutsu because I like playing it. So we'll go to test sail and we'll go to realistic battles as usual and see about some stuff. The first of these things I want to show is the fire control thing, which you can already see. Top left, and I'm going to just silence the game a little bit or else it'll overpower my voice. But top left, you see this fire control screen. I'm just going to let the air guns deal with the aircraft so they don't hear its engine noise. And if you lock onto a ship and you wait for your rangefinder to do its thing, just wait a moment. Of course, being a early dreadnought will take a while. There we go. So we now have the target's heading angle, the target speed, and like where we are compared to it with this green dot you can see here, and where the enemy is compared to us with the red dot. If any of you are familiar with World of Warships, you might have seen this as an add-on for that game or a mod for that game. And it's an interesting feature because it just gives you more targeting information. But now also somebody asked what the dispersion was like on these 16-inch guns. Let me just try and find the magazine. As you can see, the dispersion is not that bad. grouping's pretty good for a battleship of this size. And then on we go to the next bug, I think, unless I one-shot him, which I might just do. I don't. On the dev server at the moment, which is making testing very difficult, any module that gets damaged immediately turns red, bright red. I think I can maybe showcase it if I hit that PT boat and don't kill it instantly. Okay, that just blasted it apart. Oh well. Anyways, if you look at the kill feed is also different with the kill cam, damage cam. But I'll talk about that later. There's a bug going around on the dev server where damage is really difficult to interpret correctly. So, but it doesn't matter too much. It'll probably get fixed by we going to live. Then, of course, is the hit cam being different, although it's not what they said they would. So, in the patch notes, they said that the damage cam would be permanently visible as long as you're locked onto something. So I'm going to shoot again and show you what's different. But that's currently not a thing. So let's wait for the shell. That's another thing about the Nagato class, is the shells are very slow. They take some time getting to target. But yeah, you now see the amount of guns the enemy has left, their engine power, breaches was always a thing, your crew. You see some more information on the screen now than you used to. Anyways, let me catch up to the chat real quick, because I'm just talking and not really looking at what people are asking. Yeah, that would be nice. But yeah. The next thing that was broken, and it was actually told to me by Trick, is if I go, was it options? Replace in spectator mode. No, what was it? What was it? Is it in graphics? No, it isn't in graphics. There was something broken here, but I don't know how to access it again. It's in controls, thank you. Spectator camera, and is it a toggle or is it a button? There it is, it's a button. Let me just quickly assign that to OK. So I don't know how many of you know about this feature on the dev server now for aircraft. It's really nice. It's similar to a DCS feature where you can see like a way more basic view of the battlefield and it'll give you all sorts of information and ammunition. Well, for some reason, you can activate it during battle, which is a bit broken because I don't know if you can tell, you can actually see the enemy ships a whole lot better. Like you can see the... Oops, that's the wrong button. You can see the battleship off there in the distance way easier than if I would do, just that. This is supposed to be just a replay feature, so this is definitely not intended. But oh well. You didn't see the lockbox for torps though? I have torps. Don't you? Yeah, but no, this is completely not a feature supposed to happen. It's supposed to be just a replay feature. But it's broken. This happens. And the thing is as well, let me see if I can fire. But yeah, look at how easy the ship identification is. The shells become very easy to see as well. Although they still look normal. So that's another bug. It is a new feature, but it's not intended for you to be able to use in battle. So yeah. Actually, let me go back to a radar ship to actually show it as well. Damn, I've already showed Bolzano. But anyways, I was going to go to Bravi because that thing looks funky in it. So test sail. Do I have the rockets equipped as well? Let's do that. I'm not going back, Sam. So if I do this for the missile ship, there we go. And I get my missile. Look at the aircraft as well, by the way. There we go, radar. Let me switch off my gunners. Yeah, the radar looks very fun. See? The radar tracks thing. I don't know what that is. There we go, we're locked. And I'm not going to fire a missile now. Let's fly over. Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool things. Yeah, it's mainly supposed to be a replay feature for like RRB, especially for top tier RRB. And let's fire a missile. There we go. You can see the missile has a trail. Never going to track though, because it's way too close. But yeah. Very, very fun stuff. Where are my rocket launchers? Let's see if I can get them to work as well, because they do something funny too. There they go. Very funny. It is actually pretty neat to see it on a radar ship as well, because you see the radar scanning. So that's cool. But yeah. Definitely not supposed to be a thing you can just do. I need to go back to my French line to see what else was... I had to speak about frag count, mines, and frag count. Let's take something with mines that I have that's quick. I'll take the Mutsuki. And actually equip the mines. Let's see. This is actually a really fun view to do in the test drive, because you have such a better... I don't know. There was one minor update today apparently, but I missed it. And I don't actually know what it did. And yeah, now, according to the patch notes, you can no longer destroy friendly mines by running over them. Now, I don't know if this means you can also no longer destroy your own mines by running over them. But let's find out. Let's see if we can hit it by the nose or just miss it entirely. Oop. Where did it go? It's still there. But yeah, you can no longer run over friendly mines. That's neat. And then the final thing, and one of the bigger things to discuss as well, and I'm going to take... let's take an Akizuki for it, is shell fragmentation. And I need you all to listen up very well, because it's a very tricky thing to really look into. Although I didn't look into it that much. Shell fragmentation. So naval shells have now been updated. Naval shells before this update, so I'm currently on a live server, only produce, to my knowledge, like a few dozen or a dozen fragments when they detonate. And these, you know, very small amount of fragments, but these fragments do a certain amount of damage. The amount of damage your fragments do in naval shells stays the same. But instead of having now a few dozen shrapnel fragments spawning from a shell explosion, you'll have a few thousand fragments going from a shell explosion. And what this has done is something very interesting. There you have a Fletcher, which has anti-frag armor. A notoriously tough enemy for a Japanese high-explosive ship. Let's see if it's still correct, or if it wasn't just a fluke. There we go. Engines immediately destroyed. Another thing this has led to, and I'm now going to fire the torpedoes for a very specific reason, is I'll keep firing. Keep firing. There goes the torpedo detonation. And again. And look at the amount of damage I'm doing. So, and there we go, Fletcher done. I can use the model, bro. I do have it. I'll get to it. So the thing I've noticed is that from the minor testing I did last night with some friends, is that the penetration of HE didn't change. So it's not penning more armor than it did before, at least to my limited knowledge. But when it does pen, it does way more damage than it did on the live server. It is not bugged. That is just how strong they are. And because it's spawning so many more fragments, torpedo detonations are way more likely. I should be test sailing it. I'll be using HE. Perfect. For as far as I know, it affects every shell. it should affect, according to what how the patch notes are like written, it should affect all naval shells, all of them. So it makes shrapnel from anti-aircraft shells more lethal. Well, the thing is, yes and no, chicken, because the damage. So a shell has, like, let's say a shell does 1,000 fragment damage, right? On the live server, that would now be 1,000 damage spread over 12, 24 fragments. On the dev server, it's still 1,000 damage, but just spread over several thousand fragments. So that each individual fragment does less damage, but there's just more of them. So they have a chance to hit more stuff, go further, go more directions, that kind of stuff. Also, I should be aiming this at the hipper. And I'm gonna aim right for the engines.
Heavy cruiser. Bearing 280. 9,000 meters.
It's definitely something to look out for next update. I'm not entirely sure how much the meta will change because of it. Another thing to also take into account, again, is that the damage cam and damage in general is bugged in the dev server. Because no matter how much damage I do, it will always show up as red damage, as like the second to last most severe damage done. Anyways, let's fire a salvo. So it's a bit difficult to really estimate how much damage you're doing on the dev server compared to live server. But it's definitely something that you need to be looking out for. And also, remember, this is not like HE... this is not overpressure. This damage change has nothing to do with HE overpressure. It is just fragmentation count. So I don't think... I kind of think I know what you're trying to say, Local, but I don't think it'll be that severe. Also, it seems fires are doing more damage this update as well, but we're not entirely sure on that.
Shells on target.
Like, as you can see, I did a full broadside against this Hipper class with HE. It doesn't really seem to be doing that much damage. Again, because I believe it doesn't... Oh, never mind. That ship is burned to the ground. Never mind. But yeah, it's different. It's also difficult to really estimate how much damage you're doing. But this is going to be an interesting update. Very, very interesting update. Like the other day, Buddy Highly Knight there tested the Bolzano against this cruiser and he just insta-killed it by shooting at the torpedoes. So let's see if I can do the same with a battleship. There we go. No, I already spent all my G on the Mutsu for this dev server. There we go. Took off half its crew with one salvo. But again, I want to state that for as far as I know, the HE penetration didn't change. But there you go, one salvo, one kill. But it's definitely doing weird stuff. And again, I also don't know how much it's affected by the damage bug going on the dev server. But it's going to be interesting. Now, is there anything else I need to show? I don't think so. I think that's everything I've noted. If there's anything I need to test, I can. Also, Trick, you said something about the Buccaneer. Don't even have access. No, I don't have access to it. Theoretically speaking, how's the reload? I showed it before, but I'll sure show it again. Reload on Mutsu is base 32.5 and top 25 seconds. I'll test all the Bolzano for you, so I'm sure. But yeah, Mutsu's reload is nice. Yep. And I also want to note something. And again, I'm not entirely sure because I'm not a naval and don't know much about naval history. But this is the reload of 25 seconds is actually a slower reload for the Nagato class. Apparently, they're after a modernization, they could go even quicker in reload. But I'm not sure about that. That's just me being a Japanese fanboy, I guess. About Mutsu dying quickly. Yes, look at the ammunition placement, and I think you'll get why. The one good thing about the ammos, though, is that it's behind the main belt. Although you have to be careful about angling it, because you could just go through it. But yeah, look at the X-ray view of Mutsu, and all of its shell rooms are above waterline. But it's also partially because, you know, Warth under waterline is just a little bit too high. Yeah. I mean, against cruisers, she's going to be invincible. It's still a 12-inch belt. Actually, no, what was it? What was her test results against Sam? I've forgotten. See the ammo? I can show you the ammo. I will note again. So this is SAP. I'll just stay still on that for a second. And then the AP. Yes, it does have a turtleback. A thing to note with the 41 centimeter AP shells, it is the highest spanning round in game, point blank. At combat ranges, like the 7.5 and 10 kilometers, it has less span than the American Mississippi. Oh yeah, that's right. You were managing to damage my engines. Although I'm unsure, Sam, if that is because you like went through the upper deck and shrapnel just splashed down, because I do not actually think it has an armored or a too impressively armored deck. I mean, there's a turtleback, 76 millimeters. I don't think the armored deck is that impressive. I've been seeing clips of people ammo wrecking Sharn like long range, but yeah. Let me actually check something. Let's go to Scharnhorst and let's do some protection analysis, shall we? There's Scharnhorst preview. We go to armor, we go to protection analysis, and is it updated to have what's in it? Of course it is. Okay. Let's go to combat ranges of like, you know, 9.2. And yeah, it's still not going through really. Although, look at that. It is going through. I think it also has to do with like the fragmentation thing. Because it is hitting that magazine quite reliably. And what if it goes shallower? That got blocked by the turtleback. But if I hit like waterline itself, it has a good chance of actually detonating the Scharnhorst. There are no, there are no American, Soviet, or German ships yet. Remember that this is a dev server and doesn't always contain everything that's going to be live. Because there was something data mined as soon as the dev server went up about an American frigate. The Dealy or something like that. Like Deal and then EY. But I'm not sure about that. But yeah, this is going to be a very nice addition to my collection. Another thing actually I needed to point out, and let's go to Bolzano. Does Bolzano have radar? Out of curiosity, because then I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Doesn't look like it. No. Anyways, let's test sail the Bolzano, although I don't have any AP on it. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a modern Nagato at some point as well. I'm going to HE the con, Sam. That was the plan. I'm going to aim for the torpedoes and HE it. It does have a scout plane. And it is the same RO-44, isn't it? Or whatever it's called. Anyways, let's HE the torpedoes. Yeah, no, I wouldn't either. Trick. There we go, torpedo detonation, 28% crew. So, and dead. So in one way, don't bring torpedoes anymore. In another way, god damn it, I still need to grind Japan. And oh god, the Japanese crews are gonna be not fun if they're gonna bring torpedoes. But yeah, that's one-shotting a kiln. Helen doesn't have any torpedoes. That thing has torpedoes though. Yes, the torpedoes are... Because you know what I just suddenly realized? The fragmentation count might also be the case for like torpedo detonations. So the torpedoes detonating also spread more fragments than they did before. So yeah, that might be why the torpedo detonations are so critical at the moment. Yeah, Bolzano will be a cool little cruiser for the Italians. I'm gonna quickly get another ship, something with a higher fire rate, but ideally, although... Let me take the Akizuki again, not the Isuzu, the Akizuki. That doesn't have radar, I need something with radar. Does Isuzu have radar? I believe it does. Ooh, the thing with AP bombs is that they still need to be very accurate with them to actually get any use out of them. They do. AP that is an update or 2 ago now. That AP bombs actually work like they should. That's something I really need to make a video on as well. Yeah, but yeah, AP bombs are functional. They work like they historically should, but they're not. They're neat. They're nice to have. They're a really neat little thing to actually have functional. Oh, I do not have radar on Isuzu. I thought I did. But yeah, you can disable the FCS thing with the radar button. Because you can't have both search radar going on and your FCS. So yeah. Anyways, I was going to go to, shoot at the fracture. That might be as well. Because another feature of this FCS thing, and I'll show it as soon as it calculates, is it'll show you like the amount you're missing by as well. And like where you're missing it, if you're too far front, too far rear. But I'll show you that as soon as you get... Okay, let's undershoot dramatically. And again, take a look here. There we go. Short, 0.5 kilometer. And now if you go long, or try to go long, it might actually hit the funnel. Hit. The thing is, you don't have to pay attention to the like actual hit marks that you see appearing, because they don't actually represent where your shells are landing. They're just animations. Yeah, if I go forward, I'll show that later, but I believe that's a bug anyways. What will it say? Short by a little bit. Doesn't seem to actually calculate if I'm giving too much lead. Probably because you have a lead indicator, so it doesn't have to account for that either. There goes a torpedo detonation on the Fletcher. Remember, I only hit the smokestack of that Fletcher accidentally. Help. Oh boy. Yeah, fires seem a lot more lethal. Fragments from that torpedo detonation seem a lot more lethal. So, oof. Anyways, let's go back to the Bravi. Because it's funny. But yeah, the radar, so now you have FCS, now I have radar. The radar, like, phantom locks onto ships. I think it did that in the past summer as well, but it just does it again. Oh, there we go. It doesn't maintain lock, it just locks for like 3 seconds, and it doesn't keep track of it either. Like, if I look onto this boat going full speed. Yeah, if I can actually do it again. Just make speed first. And try and get a lock, but I'm not getting a lock. Let's see if we can do it on the destroyer. It's just, yeah, the lock doesn't... It's just a bug for as far as I know. Anyways, funny view. I really like this view. It's really cool. And that was a miss. But yeah, cool stuff. What I expect to happen, right, with the fragmentation thing, is that they will nerf the damage. They'll definitely they'll have to reduce the damage it does, because it's just ridiculous. You know, because I can abuse that replay view thing in test flights, I do actually have jets, especially in Japan. So let me actually try that view in a test flight like this and see what it looks like. Because I really like that view as well. There we go. You can see it's designed for aircraft because look at all the data. Come on. Now, do be warned, I am not a good pilot. So be warned of some very much shenaniganery going on when I'm firing these missiles. I'm trying to. Look. Come on. Come on, you had him for a second there. It's because it's side on now, not head on. Oh, come on. There you go, and you see all the missile data as well. Not, and you can also see like the actual seeker head as well, from what I can tell. Let's go a bit slower. So I go there, and you can see the red line of the missile seeker, and there it goes. Now let's see if we can do that with the AGMs as well. Also, I don't actually know if I have my radar search functions different. But let's go to that view. There we go. And there you go. And you can see like little laser, the beam for the tracker or whatever it is. There it is. Cool stuff. So it's definitely a very nice feature to have for replays, because then you'll actually be able to know what stuff is doing. You'll be able to know, oh, what did you get spotted by, what did you get shot by, how did he see you. So if you're ever flying top tier jets, for whatever reason, and you got missiled by a Tomcat somewhere in space, you'll actually know why he saw you and how he saw you. So there we go. I think, let me actually check what the bombs look like. Do they get, ooh, even they get a little, very good, fun stuff. But yeah, that's a cool feature. But you can, as you can see, it is very much designed for top tier jets. It was, I don't know how many of you are familiar with DCS. It's basically like that. DCS has a similar feature to this, and it's neat. Not very applicable to naval, sadly, but neat. I don't know. Let me actually get a ground vehicle. I think it's going to be the same like naval, where yes, you'll see the models and stuff, but you won't have the actual like information. Let me get an ATGM carrier, because that'll be the most interesting. Where's my army? There it is. Let's get a... Let's get this thing. Okay, and let's... Ooh! This kind of work for this, is it? Ooh, it does work for ground. It does work for ground. That's incredibly cool. Actually, let me... There we go. It's a very cool view. And even though I think this is a bug that you can do it in a test drive, it is a very, very cool thing. I can try and do a live game with Mutsu. The problem is, there's nobody in queue. I've been trying to play Mutsu all day today, and just there is nobody in queue in the dev server. Unless one of you is brave enough to jump in and try and face my Mutsu. But I'll see about it. I think I waited 20 minutes earlier today and just gave up. Radio missiles? What's the... Oh, you mean the... Hold on. The Type 60? This thing? I might do that later, Invade Pork. I might do that later. I don't really want to do Discord calls in streams because I don't know how my audio balance is for that kind of thing. Oh, yeah, that thing. That thing. I'll definitely want to try that thing. And here it is. It's a very neat view. I like the, just trimmed down. Very, very... I don't know, it's neat. Let's get this thing airborne first. Ah, yeah. Set up a match, yeah. I mean, yeah, but a lot of people in my Discord aren't either on the dev or just... Also, I have played one match in the Mutsu and it's... Also, again, it's difficult to, showcase how good a ship will be on the dev server because the... you know, the thing is... damage is weird. Oof. Well, RB, I have gone over all the ships. If you have any questions, you can sure ask them. I'll still be online for quite a while. I have time tonight. But let's just get airborne and aim ourselves towards the ground targets over there. I'm going to check that, although I don't know what torpedo to test it with. Although actually no, I did use torpedoes earlier yesterday during some testing. They seem fine, they seem normal. And I used some very light torpedoes as well against Sam. And they seemed fine. Okay, let's go into this very funny view. And let's select missile and fire missile. The thing is, it's easier to aim with this because you don't have the smoke trail. So let's see. Although the box of text is a bit confusing. There we go. Directly in the face. Okay, is that fire? I know it's just a burning wreck now. Let me do some aerial torps. Although I don't think they'll do more damage. But yeah. It's a RB, it is a new thing for replays. It's actually a replay function, the view. It shows you all the... For as far as I understand, right, it's a feature for higher tier jets to understand how missiles behave and what they can see and what they can't see. Again, after the stream, feel free to look through it. I did a bit of top tier F-16 flying in a test flight with that thing. It's a very cool feature. I do not think it should be able to just be viewed in test drives, but oh well. Anyways, I was going to do airdrop torpedoes. What do I do? Actually, no. The Pacific campaign does have Pacific side does have ships to drop torpedoes against. There we go. Also, fuel slider, very cool. Although not too important. I don't know, Trick. I don't know because I haven't played. I haven't cared about ground either. Also, carrier. It is a very cool view to just look around it. Do need to be careful I don't crash into the ground. I've flapped this out. This is going to take a little bit of flying to get to my targets, but oh well. It's an interesting update for Naval, I think, this one. It'll be a bit of definitely a meta shift with the fragment thing. The the fire control system thing, where you can now see target heading and speed. Neat. It's not a necessity for like veteran players, but it's neat to have if you're not really too sure what your shells are doing. It will, I just thought of it, it will greatly help you when you're shooting at targets over an island, because you'll now be able to tell if you're shooting short or long, or how short and how long. So that might be quite interesting, because it'll give you the accurate heading of a target as well. Oh well. More tools to use, I guess. I do find it interesting that the fire control thing for Naval is... like, you either have that or you have radar. And I'm not too sure, like, how you would switch between those two. Out of like, at what point you would rather have radar than the FCS. But yeah. 2 destroyers. Let's try and line up a torpedo run. These should be actual HD model destroyers as well, so it should be fine. And I'm going to aim for the engines. So aim for the, well, where the torpedoes are and where the engines are, rather than going for the ammo rack. But my aim of airdrop torpedoes, sadly, is not that great. Are they actually? Not sure if they're HD models, because it doesn't actually mention like an HD ship name. They're listing and turning and rolling, and the map assets don't do that. I want to see if my torpedo actually like makes a line on this view. Although it's a bit difficult to aim with this. That is not a ship we have. That is just a... torpedoes are not visible in it. Clearly. And I missed. Quite sure how I missed, but I will. Oh well, we have another 50 seconds before I can do it again. Do we have any stationary ships? We do, but they're like the one-shottable cargo ships anyways. Yeah, I'll get to the US test drives. Because this is not going to work, I think. And I'll take the BTD. I think that'll be my fastest. Yeah, those really do look like the old DD models as well. Because we don't have an American destroyer with 4 enclosed turrets. Let's actually equip the torpedoes, which is this. I don't think it did. I think it went deep, but I'm not sure. Anyways. This is a really neat view. Oop. Okay. Some catapult action of the end of the deck there. This is also not that fast, but oh well. Now we just make our way over to those shimikazes. Are they shimikazes? They are. Well, the thing is, I say this is a nice update for Naval, but really, I like the fact that I'm getting a Mutsu for my main Naval tree. But other than that, the other Naval editions are a bit meh. Bolzano is nice. Bolzano is definitely a nice Italian cruiser edition. Gives him a nice 5-3 lineup with Trento. But then you have, like, you know, the British get a 3rd Daring as a premium. The French get a German destroyer and a side grade to a battleship they already have. Although more firepower, less AA, I guess. And am I missing a ship? Didn't think I am. And if I am, is that forgetful I've already forgotten? Yeah, I'd like the FCS to also be relative angle rather than absolute to north. Bit weird for that to be the case, but yeah. There's both a French DD and a BB. I remember them both, Kleber and Bretagne. And let's try to actually hit this destroyer. Now, of course, this is Shimakaze, so if it detonates torpedoes, it's going to go sky high. But let's see what we can do. Yeah, it's fine, Trick. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, the British are getting a daring copy-paste, but at a lower battle rating for some reason. They did a lot of damage. Did it detonate the torpedo? I'm not sure. It definitely set it on fire. But that's the engines burning. All the turrets are on fire, which is interesting. Why are all the turrets burning? Could it stop burning? Probably because they're... I don't know, did it flood? Yes, there is something for Italy. I'll show it again after this, but I just wanted to test out if torpedoes do anything new. I mean, not really. It definitely did something devastating damage to the Shimakaze, but didn't sink it outright. Not yet, at least. Okay, this time not all 3 turrets are burning. The rear ones aren't even burning either. The torpedoes still seem normal. So yeah. That's something. Anyways, to Cliff the Lightning that asked if there's anything for Italy, let me show you. There is for the Blue Water Fleet, Bolzano. Which is going to be very neat. Funky little torpedo tube sticking out the side, but do well. I just have torpedo reloads as well. That's neat. It does have torpedo reloads. Alright, torpedoes, I guess, a little bit short range. But yeah, that's that. And I think I'm starting to run out of things to talk about, so unless anybody has any more questions, shoot them away, or else I'm gonna wrap it up for today. AP bombs, right trick. What can I use though to test AP bombs? I could use the British because they have some stationary fleet assets that's friendlies. And they do have some AP bombs. They have some AP bombs on... I'm going to use as an AP bomber though. Ideally I would have something with a bomb sight, but I also want something quick. Does the Canberra have AP bombs at all? Or the normal Buccaneer? The normal Buccaneer does have... Nope, that's high drag. Yeah, but it doesn't have bomb sights, and I can just put it to arcade. Why am I bothering with bomb sights? Let's put it to... Nope, that's what I want. I want to do test flight, put it to arcade. Equip the... That's a 2,000 pound AP bomb and 500 pounds. Let's do this. That's SAP and AP. Arcade, 29 minutes. Yep. The thing is, for AP bombs to work, I have to go quite high. Luckily it's arcade and I'm in a Wyvern, so it should be pretty quick. do the 500 one first? I guess we will. We have 3 light cruisers. This will do fine. Although we won't be able to do what kind of... We won't be able to see what kind of damage the bombs will do. Because they're friendlies. And now we just climb. And climb. And I think I'll just ditch the 500 and just do the 2000 right at the get-go. It is definitely still a bit low for an AP bomb test, especially against a cruiser, although a 2,000 pound bomb it should be fine. I just need to know when to dive. And I think we'll start our dive right about now. Hello there, Bill. Been a while. There we go. Okay. I can't know how much damage it'll do. I'll have to try it out on the dev server, on the live server, to see if AP bombs changed, but I don't think they will. Because AP bombs are technically not naval shells, so they shouldn't be changed by the fragmentation count. But yeah. I'll try that out properly on the live server. Nah, the AP bombs always look like deck explosions trick. Although, is that actually the case? I'm not sure anymore. I might have actually also been going way too... Might have just been a bad AP bomb drop. Let me actually check where it is my... Wyvern, there it is. So it dropped it from what? 1,000-ish? Although going at speed, of course. 89. What's the deck armor of a... What was it? No, what was it again? Dido. Well, it does have a little bit of an armored box for a magazine. And the deck is just 25mm steel, but it's a long distance, so it might have just not done anything. Oh well. I'll test AP bombs when I can actually do it on the live server again. But I think I'm through with everything I needed to talk about on this dev server, unless we need some more questions. Actually, you know what? I'll just do a very quick recap, because other people have joined, people have left again. A quick recap of what's being added. First, premium destroyer HMS Diamond for Britain. It is just a daring class destroyer, but for some reason it's 4.3. Who knows? Then we have Mutsu, the first of the 16-inch battleships in game, and of course coming after the Congo right here. It's going to be an interesting battleship because AP and SAP. It has the highest penetration at short range, but it does get beaten out at long range. It does have the fastest reload for the type of gun caliber though. At a blistering 25 seconds with an aced crew, 32.5 seconds stock. Mutsu's armor is kind of to be expected of a Japanese ship, kind of thin for what it is. 12 inches with a 76mm turtleback, but it does go pretty quick to, counteract that. But since it's also an early version of the Nagato class, no anti-air except for 4 76mm guns. Then on we go to Italy with Bolzano. A mix between the Trento class hull and Zara's turrets. It's gonna be a neat little 5.3 heavy cruiser for Italy. Definitely helpful to make yourself a lineup with Trento. Then we go to France, which has Kleber, which is just a German destroyer given to the post-war as reparations, so it does have some 40mm Bofors guns. But other than that, it is just a German destroyer. And then we have Bretagne, a earlier version of the Lorraine we already have. But what's the major difference between it and Lorraine is the 5th turret in the center of the ship, where Lorraine instead has anti-air mounts. So that's it for all the ship additions. Just Bretagne, Kleber, Bolzano, Mutsu, and HMS Diamond. Other than that, we have fire control systems, which I'll showcase later. We have frag count difference, which basically means that naval shells did like a certain amount of fragmentation damage. This number of damage, let's just take 1,000. It's not going to be 1,000, but let's say a shell does 1,000 frag damage. Still the same, but the amount of fragments generated from a shell explosion, instead of being in like the dozens, is now in the thousands. But each fragment now does less damage, but there's a whole lot more of them. This is roughly translated into it not having more, into naval shells not having more penetration, but doing a lot more damage when they're actually penetrating. It has also led to torpedoes being way more likely to detonate than previous update. Fires also seem to be a lot more violent, not quite sure why, but basically anything that can explode on a ship will explode way more violently. Then we have T-mines. Friendly mines, mines dropped by your teammates, can no longer be run over by you. That, you mean you'll run over them, but it will no longer destroy them. Neat feature, but oh well. View and damage bugs. The view bug I'm going to show in the test drive again. Damage on the dev server at the moment is very difficult to interpret how much damage you're doing, because no matter how minor the damage is, if you hit a module, it'll immediately turn bright red, which is the second to last highest amount of damage a module can have, so it's very difficult to interpret damage on the dev server. But now, test sail stuff. Let's go to the Bravi, because it's the most interesting one for this. So we go to test sail, it doesn't matter what I'm equipped with. Fire control system is the most important thing. You can see it here already. I'm going to disable the air gunners. If I select a target and the rangefinder does its thing, I will get the target heading, its speed, and its position compared to me by these dots. So I'm currently slightly back left of the enemy target, seen by this green dot, and it is to my front right. If I however switch to radar, which I did accidentally, it does away with that. You can only have either radar or the FCS. But it's very interesting. Another neat feature is that if you aim short, that's going to be annoying, but oh well. If you aim short, it'll tell you by how much short you are. If you aim long, it'll tell you by how much you overshot. If you straddle a target, it'll also tell you, but I can't simulate that at the moment. And if you hit, it should say hit. There you go. Very interesting. Another bug that's going on at the moment is this. This is not a feature really supposed to be for naval, it's more an aircraft feature, but it's currently a bug. It also shows you radar stuff. It'll show you missile stuff. It's a very cool thing, but it's not supposed to be a thing. So, oh well. And that is a very quick summary of what the dev server is for naval. If there are any questions, be sure to ask them, because I think in like another 5 or so minutes, that'll be it for tonight. I know it looks cool with the anti-sub rockets. I'll take the SKR for that, because it's a bit funner on that thing. If I have the rockets on the SKR. I do.
All hands to battle stations.
Very funny.
WT bridge.
Just very cool.
On radar. Fighter. Ahead. 2,000 stations.
I'll
Enemy spotted.
definitely show you the diamond.
Target identified.
Where that's the coastal tree. I'm just gonna find diamond there. Let me try and get rid of that. And let's do it that way, because then you'll get a cleaner silhouette. Then if you want the entire ship with just a superstructure. But yeah. Anyways, thank you all for coming to watch the stream again after my long break. I'll try and do something about that, by the way. But I can't really promise anything, sadly. And I think, unless I see more questions streaming in, I'll leave it at that. The Bravia missile is still the same. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. And as I usually do, when the update goes live, I'll stream day one. If I'm able to, because I did get myself a bit of a different schedule. But yeah, thanks all for watching. And I will see you when patch trade drops, most likely.